All right, hello everybody, and we are live. Welcome to the Pastrami Nation Podcast, episode 100. We're the meat of pop culture. My name is Nolan Smith. I'm the co-founder and editor of Pastrami Nation. Joining us today is my fellow co-founder, Jason Smith.
Hi, everybody.
We have our entertainment editor, Kevin Hoskinson.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And we have the very styling godfather of action figures.
Hello, what's up, guys? What's up, everybody?
That's what you're hiding under that hat every week, isn't it? Wow.
Bangs don't.
So let me check and make sure we're on Facebook because I saw a little warning that Facebook's having some outages. We're up. We're live. We're fine. So we're good. No worries.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we got a lot to talk about today. A lot. And it's the 100th episode. So if it goes a tad bit longer, that's quite all right because we earned it. Right? You only turn 100 once. As I
happy
said
birthday,
earlier.
guys.
Yeah, happy 100th.
Yeah. Got the gray going on. Yeah.
Well,
before we get going, we are going to give away something, a cool spooky gift. And we're giving away something that, I personally think is awesome because I love the company and I love the movie. And Kevin actually posted about the movie this week on his social media. I got everybody I know excited to watch it again because we watched it again this week.
Nice.
Let me go ahead and show. Boom. Let's see. Right there.
God, I really look like my mom with a mustache.
All right, everybody. You have a chance to win Loyal Subjects Best Action Figure Beetlejuice based off of the old animated series.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, this is one I haven't even been able to track down in stores. So, you have a chance today to win that. All you have to do is drop a comment.
Old figures, too. Those were pretty cool looking.
Yeah, and Beetlejuice was like beyond its time. Like it was so dark. I was watching it with my family, and we were like, "Dang, it's really dark," but really good, you know. So you have a chance to win that. All you got to do is join the conversation, and at the end of the night, Jason's going to draw a winner. So there you go. Let me make sure I'm sharing our Facebook feed so that way everybody can see it. Boom. There we go. So, all right. So first, let's go ahead and just kick off. It's Halloween season. We have a few people dressed up. Yeah, I know, right? Like, So, you guys excited for Halloween?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. Love Halloween.
Yeah.
I guess I might dress up. I haven't thought about it yet.
Yeah. You should probably think about getting a costume or something, you know?
Yeah.
Great hair, by the way.
Thanks. I can't find my hat.
I know. It's like, wow, that's what he's been hiding.
It just all disappears.
Exactly. It's like a video game.
And if you're watching this, please share your Halloween costume using hashtag Pastrami Nation 100. And we will try to pull those up and share them as we go in the show. Hashtag is in the chat right now. Boom. Pastrami Nation 100. So make sure you do that. All right. So first,
remember,
the big...
We're not attacking your costume. We're attacking you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. The big one, of course, is this is our 100th episode celebration. So we've been doing this for quite a while. I was shocked to hear about that we actually reached 100.
Yeah,
I haven't been keeping track, at all. So somebody was. Thank you. And we're at 100. So I want to talk a little bit about that road to 100s because when it started off, there were 5 people in the room. When me and Jason first did our first ever Pastrami Nation podcast. It was completely audio. We did no video whatsoever. And we had never done a podcast before. I'd never been on the radio. I'd never done any of that. And we gave it a shot. Jason, back then, so did you think we would last to 100?
No, I thought it was just maybe like a fun thing we're doing in our friend's living room, which was awesome. We had a good time. And then, like, flash forward, here we are.
Right. Yeah, and it's been absolutely fantastic. We've grown so much, and we've evolved so much. We went to having the video podcast. We had podcasts inside various comic book stores, including QBC. Hey, Crystal and Robert and Q.
And good old line breakers.
Line Breakers, right? We've done a lot of episodes over at Line Breakers. We've interviewed a lot of cool people on our various episodes. I know with myself and Jason, I know Kevin and I have interviewed a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Ted Ramey.
Mhm.
You know,
That was
we've
amazing.
interviewed some. Yeah, he's still one of my favorite. It was so
Yeah.
cool. And we just keep evolving. The brick therapy is going on where Jason Christian and Kevin go and talk about the awesomeness of Lego. You know, we're just we're really doing our best to keep up with pop culture and keep up with what we love about it. So we just want to say thank you. We wouldn't keep doing it if people weren't actually like watching and listening and commenting and sharing. Like we wouldn't waste our time. We would stop. Um,
And
and I
thank you
mean,
to
for me,
Christian and Kevin for sticking it out
oh,
with us. You
Oh
guys are
yeah.
awesome.
Nah, it's been so much fun. Thank you guys
absolutely.
for having us. Of course.
You guys have become such big parts of it, and I really mean that because for a while, me and Jason we went through the rotating cast, and
Mhm.
everybody brought something cool to the table. But you guys have been here, and you stayed with it. We really do
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Love it.
And we're really looking forward to the 100 next episodes. And we got some cool things planned. I know we already have another spin-off podcast going to be recorded very soon that Kevin's going to be spearheading, which will be fantastic.
It'd be fun.
So just be on the lookout. We're going to keep trying to bring you, like our tagline says, the meat of pop culture. So just wanted to put that out there. Just extremely humble that we're able to have made it here. That our little website that started with a photo of the Godzilla set up at the San Diego Comic Con. That's what kicked off everything for
Right.
us. And I still remember it didn't even say Pastrami Nation. It said Pastrami is here.
I
We
remember
didn't
that.
even decide to add the nation yet. And now, I mean, I look and we just have so many cool things. We have so many great things going on. So just super excited. So thank you all to you who have been commenting, everybody who's been on the podcast, who's contributed to the website, who's supported us, who's shared it, who said, hey, those guys don't suck. Every bit of that, we really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, let me see. I got my list and then I went off the list, but it's here. It's here. There it is. All right, so we are in the Halloween season. I want to definitely talk about something that Jason actually brought to my attention because I mean, can't talk Halloween and horror and all that without ghosts. So we wanted to talk about ghost of pop culture, but also ghost encounters. If we've had any these ghost encounters to really freak people out if they're watching, and if you've had one and you're watching, drop it in the comments and let's hear it. So, does anybody want to go?
No, I mean, just in like, yeah. So I've had experiences that I can't really explain per se. I've seen stuff, heard stuff. But I think the most like scariest thing to me is watching a really, really good ghost movie, right? So, Nolan, you had mentioned to me yesterday you guys had watched the Conjuring movies. You guys had watched all three. That first movie and the true story behind it still terrifies me till this day. Such a good story, such a great ghost story. Like it's terrifying, absolutely. Like that movie scared the Jesus out of me. Um, but yeah, I have had weird, bizarre experiences. Like shadow people when I was a kid, um, and all that kind of stuff. But not I used to work at a mortuary too, so like I used
Oh,
to.
nice.
Yeah, I have questionable things going through my head while I'm working there at literally like 3 o'clock in the morning,
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, when you're by yourself, it gets weird.
In a
So I get
mortuary of all places.
yeah, like it was different mortuaries too. So it was pretty interesting. So, a lot of it is your mind playing tricks on you, right? You're in a mortuary in the middle of the night. Every little noise is a ghost or a demon or something coming to get you. When in fact, I remember one time I was working at one mortuary and I kept on hearing the door to the room where I was in, like shaking, like something was shaking it really hard. I was like, what is that? Like I was getting freaked out. So I'm like trying to figure it out, what's going on. Um, this happens like a few times. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I leave the mortuary. It was my first time at this particular one. It was right next to the freeway. So there's all these trucks driving by and everything, which is causing the door to shake. But of course, in my head, it's like there's a million things coming to get me. So, a lot of it kind of is your mind playing tricks on you. But I have had some experiences where I can't really explain what it was. So, yeah, that's my feel on that.
I feel
What
like
did you
that's. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was saying, what did you see that was that was absolutely not your mind playing tricks on you? Like that, wow, I just saw that. Like,
When I was a kid, I used to see shadow people.
oh man,
Like pretty regularly, actually. I had this one experience, man. This still gives me chills thinking about it. I was in bed. I was young, like 7 or 8, but I'm laying there in bed. This is back when we were kids. So me and my sister, we're like 2 years, about a year and a half apart. So we're sharing a room, we have our separate beds, whatever. And I'm laying there. I turn around and I see this shadow just sitting at the side of my bed, just like sitting there. Like you can tell it was sitting because it was just like, it wasn't facing me. It looked like it was facing away from me. I was like, what the heck? I started to freak out. I started to panic. The only thing I could think about doing was just like closing my eyes and covering my head. Because of course, blanket's going to stop a ghost from actually getting you. So I put it over my head. I put it back. It was gone. It's one of those things where you didn't feel it like getting up or sitting down or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just like you didn't, it just disappeared. Things like that used to happen at that house like all the time. I used to see shadow people just standing at the door.
And where were you living at the time?
This was I lived in California. I lived in El Monte down in California. That's kind of where I grew up. Right. Or till I was about 8 or 9, we lived there. And yeah, I did some research on the whole area, and I don't know if you guys knew
Black Dahlia.
The Black Dahlia, yeah, like there's all kinds of stuff, and it used to be back in the day, which I know sounds super weird, but I was researching, and it used to be a Confederate stronghold, which is really weird because it was in the South, right, the southern part. Anyways, this whole wild story. But yeah, there's all kinds of weird things I couldn't explain at that house. Just like I said, shadow people were my main thing. As I grew up, I didn't really see anything like crazy or anything. I've had experiences with Ouija boards. I've had weird stuff happen with those, and those still give me chills. I don't know. I can't say I won't touch
Thank
one,
you.
but I should probably know better, and I probably shouldn't. But yeah, I've had some pretty crazy experiences with Ouija boards too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think when you say like it's just what you can't explain, right? Because I feel like I've had experiences, and then like looking back at it, I'm like, oh, logically, it's probably this or probably that.
Just real quick, I just want to say, Anthony, my mom would transport bodies from mortuaries, and sometimes that was exactly my job. I would transport bodies from where they died to different mortuaries in the Portland area. So it'd be like, and I worked the graveyard shift most of the time, so it was literally like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So it'd be like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, driving around Portland with a dead body in my van.
It usually, I mean, it's people that pass in their sleep, like.
Yeah, so a lot of the times it's people in hospice care. So people who are sick. A lot of like senior homes. A lot of memory home kind of places. We'd occasionally get the occasional, suicide, things like that would happen. We'd have to help the police department sometimes transfer body parts to the mortuary for them to the medical examiner's office.
Yeah.
To be able to, put everything together. Pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just saw that.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, go for it.
That's a crazy. I think my only story. I used to work at if you're ever in the Orange County area, if you're down the 55, right outside like John Wayne Airport, there's a big Embassy Suites hotel. That was like one of my first jobs. I was a kid. as a bellboy. Something happened like right before my shift started that supposedly is like in the top like 6 haunted places in the state or something. I always just was freaked out, but like I never personally experienced anything. Um, Jason, where I met Jason, we met at a school in San Bernardino, and from what I understand, and it's obvious if you walk around the place before the school, before it was a school, it was like a hospital mental facility for people. So I didn't honestly believe it, but like if you go to the elevators, there was always 2 side by side elevators, one normal, and then one that was like really deep, and it had like the little medical logo like right outside the door because it had to fit gurneys into it. So
that's crazy.
I know that like upstairs that we had like a lot of issues. I've only experienced one thing, and the whole class was there. We all were like, let's go home. But
Right.
like I know like the cleaning ladies won't go down like the corridor past like 9 p.m. I know that like I really quickly we were at a faculty meeting and jokingly I was like it was like a Friday morning and I was like, can we all be serious for one moment and talk about how haunted the main building is? Like expecting everybody to laugh about it, and everybody was just like, what have you experienced? Like everybody down from like the assistant like principal to everybody had their own stories. It was crazy. But my own personal story actually wasn't scary at all. It was like really personal. It was, if anything, it was a little
See, that's cool though. I love those kinds of
heartwarming.
stories.
If you've ever noticed, I have a tattoo right here that says Arkham. When I was in school, my best friend passed away, Mark. It was about like a day or two after he passed away. I was at my parents' house, and I was home alone, and I remember like the TV wasn't working for what reason it never does that, and the TV just for that day just kept glitching on and off, on and off, on and off, and I was like I couldn't control it with the control, and I was like really weird, and it was on like The Simpsons, and I remember I was like at some point I'm like wait, Mark is I literally out loud was like Mark, is that you? And it was off and it came on and it was Homer. And he said, yes. And he turned back off. And then I was like, and then it came back on again and it was Krusty. And he says, really does exist. And then turns off. And then I was like,
Wow.
and then it kind of stopped.
Cool.
And then I started to cry because I was like, I miss you, Mark. And Mark, if you're up there listening, I love you, man. It's been a long time. But yeah, that's my only experience. And it was kind of cool. It actually wasn't terrifying or anything. So.
Oh, those are to me sometimes those are the most like fascinating stories because a lot of people think paranormal, they think ghosts, they think scary, right? Like it's got to be this really terrifying experience. Then you have experiences like yours, which are just emotional and heartwarming. I love those.
I mean, it could be like an electronic thing. I'm just gonna choose to believe that it was Mark.
Yeah,
So,
There's
even
no
though
way
usually
to.
I'm a skeptic, so but it was really cool for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What about you guys?
Well, me, I've had a few. When I was a kid, like when we lived in Santa Ana, my older brother, and I shared a room. And one morning I woke up and my uncle had a friend named Brett who would always come over, long hair, ponytail. They both had the long hair back then, and then the Christian hair. And they were trimming our trees, so that's how I knew Brett. So he was always at the house, my uncle trimming trees and stuff. His best friend. One morning I wake up and I see him just standing in front of my window looking down. Then I close my eyes for a second, open him up. He's not there anymore. Told my mom, like, well, where's Brett, And she didn't say nothing. And then come to find out Brett died a couple of weeks before
wow.
hunting accident, And so that was my first taste.
You were how old?
taste, I was probably like 5 or 6 or something. Like we live in Santa Ana, so I'm thinking I was like 5-ish. Second, also in Santa Ana, we had this big brown and white van. It was like the first family van that we had. And I don't know. I remember one time I crawled in there just to hide. We were playing hide and seek. And I thought, oh, cool, I'm going to go hide in the front yard. And I'm going to hide in the van. They're never going to find me because they're all looking in the backyard. And then I'm in the van and like duck down in the front, like the middle seat. And then I just hear this heavy breathing start coming like almost Darth Vader-ish. And just it creeped me out, and I got the hell out of the van. I don't know, maybe there was somebody in the back, the very back or something, but it freaked the shit out of me. So I don't know if that one was ghost or maybe there was somebody back there making a heavy breathing. But either way, I got out of that van. and then hadn't really experienced anything since after that until I was in college going to VVC, good old Victor Valley College, 2002. I was in the reptile class, and we did like 4 field trips where we'd go out to like different parts of the desert or the forest, whatever. And this was the overnight field trip. There's a research facility off of that Zizix Road on the way to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Go down that road, there's a research facility. So
Is that how you say it, by the way?
Zizix or ZZY, I've heard it both ways,
I've
but
always wanted to know how to say it.
I just say Zizix.
Yeah.
But there's like a little, there's a dorm and everything, so you can stay there and everything. So we were staying there for the night. It was a Saturday, Sunday field trip. Well, real late at night, we get in the van. The teacher's taking us out to the Calso sand dunes, which is way the hell out there past all that, in the middle of nowhere where there's like soft sand dunes, because there's a specific type of rattlesnake that only comes out at night over there. So we were looking for those because it's the reptile class. So we're walking in, and then you know how you get to like those national parks, there's like the little fence and like the visitor info, and there was like a restroom, a men's and a women's. It's like the outhouse style restroom, you know. So we're walking and we're in there, and we're the only van and everything, and this is like 12:30 at night. And then we're coming back, like we're on the trail, and we see the van probably a good like 50 feet, like we're 50 feet from the van headed back. We see a Mexican girl wearing all white holding a baby, and she goes into the bathroom. Like she had curly hair, like frizzy, like 80s style chick hair. You know how they had the big poofy.
Oh yeah, big poofy.
Yeah, and she was dressed like she was from the 80s, like that fashion style, but wearing all white and holding a baby. And she goes into the women's bathroom. And then at first we're like, And then the teacher is like, do you guys realize that there's no car here or nothing? Where's her car at? Where did she come from? And then we're like, whoa, you know, that kind of made us all like, because there was like 6 of us in that little group. And the hairs on all of our arms pretty much stood up. And there was one chick in our group. And we're like, well, she went in there. You have to go in there. She's like, I'm not going in there. And then because the teacher's knocking at the door, Miss, are you okay? Do you need a ride? And nobody's answering. So the girl in our group didn't want to go in there. She's like, I'm not going in. So the teacher's like, well, I'll open the door and see what's going on. And somebody stand there with me, you know? Open the door. There's nothing in there. Nobody there. I'm like, so I'm pretty sure that chick and that baby are probably buried out there in that desert somewhere, and that's what we all saw.
Oh my
and
god!
Like that just kind of set the tone. Like the whole ride home, like ride back to the door, nobody really like. We were all quiet. Nobody was really talking about it, you know. And it's just like, what did we see? We saw a ghost, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, and like, you know, you think you're crazy, but it's like we all saw it. All 6 of us saw this, you know. So I'm pretty sure that girl is out there buried somewhere in the middle of nowhere with that baby. Probably died in the 80s because that's how she was dressed.
God, that's crazy.
But that was like, yeah, that was full on. Like I saw that and like, I don't know, because she went into that bathroom, and then common sense starts to set in. Where's her car at? You know, what's she doing out here in the dunes at midnight with the baby? So then that's when, Miss, are you okay in there? Miss, no answer. I was like, well, she might be in that bathroom. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's one of those kind of toilets, you know, where they dig a hole in the ground.
The vault toilet, yeah.
Yeah, it still makes the hair stand up when I think about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't hear some of those before, so that was new for me.
Yeah, that was good.
I still talk to one of the guys. He's in a band out here called the High D Boys or whatever.
High D Boys.
This guy Philip Clevenger, he was in that group with me, so like I still talk to him every now and then. And like,
nice.
One of these days, I'm going to be like, "Hey, do you remember that?" Because I know he does.
You should do it today with that hat on. Just send him a little video chat. You remember?
I think I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Hey, I know it's been a while, but do you remember?
Remember me?
With a king tie.
Pharaoh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was my ghost encounter that like stuck, because those ones when
that's
I was a kid,
a good one.
But that one just like I was a fully functioning adult college kid. And I was like, I just saw this, you know?
Man.
Dang. Wow.
What about you, Nolan?
A lot of mine are more of my family's. Like my mom actually wrote a whole book about ghost stories and stuff that she's experienced out in the house in Santa Ana. That's like it was this 100-year-old house, and it was considered like on the Spanish radio stations they would consider it one of the most haunted houses in America. So people would like go by there and walk by there to see if they could see the old woman. But that house is no longer there. So
It
I bet you the
burned,
ghosts
yeah.
still are.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go into that house by myself. Like,
No, because the old woman was the least of the worries. Like there were, we heard some really scary stories about like creepy old men that crawl on the floor towards you when you're
well,
on
he's
the
not
bed
even
and then
the
you cover up.
scariest. That's not
Or
even
what do
the
you got?
scary.
No.
What Eric saw, because the old man and the old lady are what my aunt saw, or
Right.
my other cousin. He came in with his girlfriend, and the other cousin was sleeping on. He's like, "Don't wake him. He's asleep on the couch." And she's like, his girlfriend's like, "Who's the elderly man on the other couch?" He's like, "There's nobody there," and there wasn't. That ghost was sleeping there, but the elderly man and the woman, they were the original owners of the property, but
Oh,
my
crazy.
cousin has seen some like
That's nuts.
the shit he told me he saw. That's what made me, because those other ghosts, I'm like, I'll just cover my head at night. When my cousin told me what he saw there, like that made me not want to be in that house by myself at all. Like this was back probably like mid 90s, I'd say. He was staying in the upstairs room, and they were all gone on somewhere for the weekend. He heard somebody in there walking up the stairs, go out there and peek. Nobody's there. Go back in his room. Here's it again. Nothing there. Here's somebody, like there's a door that went to the outside patio. Somebody's turning that, so he's thinking, okay, somebody's trying to break in. So he opens that with like his bat, like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Nobody's there either. So he shuts it. That's when it starts to set in, because then he starts hearing the steps again. And then he said that he peeked down there and he couldn't see nothing. And he's like, "Who the hell are you?" And then something growled toward, like, and he was like, "Nope." He went in his room and locked the door. And then all of a sudden he heard the thing coming up the stairs again, like the slow walk. And he's like, "No, whoever it is right outside my door now." He said he peeked under the door. There's a little space in between the floor and the door. He went down to peek under it, and there's two eyes looking back at him there. And he's like, "Nope." Now he went out the fucking patio door, hopped the fence, and just fucking got in his car and said, "I'm not."
No.
That just gave me chills. Like, I was like, I don't ever want to encounter anything like that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Nope. I agree. That house was insane. The one thing I would say, and I think we got to chalk it up to paranormal. And Jason, it was with you when we were driving home one day. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Oh, the old lady.
The old lady dressed like an Eskimo.
No, she was dressed more like old traditional, like Mexican dresses from like the 1600s.
Real bundled up and and she had this very serious look on her face. So we always go the back way to go home, and we were driving, and there's this lady just standing there, like right at the edge of the dirt in the road, and we were turning, and we're just watching, and she just has this mean look, just staring forward to the house in front of her, and we know what the neighbors look like around there and whatnot. There's nobody there that looks like that. So we're driving, and Jason was like, "Did you see that shit?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Should we turn back?" I was like, "Nope, we're going home." We went
she didn't
home
fit in the time frame of like she's a couple centuries too late. Like that was something that doesn't belong in this century,
No, yeah, it was insane. Yeah. Well, this is a really good discussion.
Generally speaking, do you guys consider yourselves like skeptics or believers? Like, if
I'm a believer.
Believer.
100% believer. I try to explain things away. So I actually think I'm kind of in the cusp there, because I like I said, I like the mortuaries. I could have just thought everything I heard or saw was a ghost, right? But I found these logical explanations for it all. So yeah, I'm kind of on the cusp, but mainly a believer. Like I want to believe.
Right.
Like
what about you, Nolan?
100%, I believe. Yeah, I've my mom's told me too much, and my mom's like one of the most like grounded, down to earth people I know. And for her to tell me what she saw and what she's experienced, there's absolutely no way. And like back when our father died, like way back when, I saw his ghost behind me at the church, just chilling behind me with his yellow shirt and his arms crossed. Turned around and I didn't see the full him. That's it. I never saw his face. I just saw the body. So
how old were you when your father passed?
20.
20.
Yeah, I was 20. Oh man, it was crazy. It was a crazy day. Me and Jason self-published a comic book, and we were all happy because we picked up our comic book that day. And then my twin brother called me up, and he's like, "The coroner's here." So me and Jason were the ones that went down and ID'd the body. Like we were the ones who did all of it. And then I remember going to the church that day, and you're just so pissed off, you know. He died of a heart attack. You're just so pissed off about everything. And there he was, you know. So there's no explaining that because it wasn't a church day. It was a Friday. There was no service or anything. So,
Yeah.
definitely a
What
believer.
about you, Christian? Are you a believer or a skeptic?
I think I'm on the fence too. I think I like to think I'm like 60-40. Like I'm
Mhm.
60 skeptic and then 40 believer. I was raised Catholic, and like, you know, in Filipino culture, like superstition is like a big thing. I'm sure you guys can kind of relate to that. But like my grandma always was like, I think in Filipino culture they use it as a way to teach kids a lesson. Like pushing your chair at night, or you're inviting a ghost to sit into it, or like
Right.
make sure, you know, like it's all to learn manners. So my dad was
Right.
always like, my dad was raised like not that way. My grandpa was like, that's all bullshit. So my dad was like, don't listen to your grandma, it's all bullshit. So like I'm kind of that way too, but then I've also experienced things too, so it's hard to like, you know, I'd like to think there's always a reasonable explanation for stuff, but there are going to be those times where like what is the explanation, you know what I mean? And I think there's a beauty to that kind of stuff too, you know. If we think about it scientifically, like, you know, like energy is never wasted, right? Energy just gets turned into something else. So like where does that energy go when we leave, right? Like
Right, exactly.
so I don't know, but I'm open to it. I'm also a big scaredy cat, so
Well, listen,
Well,
if
you
I
know,
ever make my way,
Then.
when I make my way down there, we're gonna find some place and we're gonna go on a massive ghost hunt. Okay.
yeah.
We go to Zizix.
Yeah, we'll go to Zizix.
Okay, anywhere but
Zizix.
Zizix. Jason's story was terrifying. No, thank you.
Let's go
Castle
find her.
Boots,
Let's
just
go see
past
what's up.
Zizix.
Let's ask her some questions.
Yeah,
I need to
no,
know
I
what's
think that
going
would be great. And
Yeah.
in case you're watching and you didn't know before, we used to do a podcast called Pastrami Paranormal, and that's what we talked about. We talked about ghost. Kevin led it. We talked about ghost and
That's
cryptozoology, and we're actually going to be bringing it back soon. So be on the lookout for that. I'd love to do a ghost hunt. I actually bought the
speaking of
little
cryptos-
meter too.
Dude,
Well, I'd love to go just out in the middle of nowhere where people have been known to see Bigfoots, but I would want to make sure I'm in like the biggest, most secure Hummer that can crawl
Yeah.
through anything.
Because if
I
we
don't
don't
wanna
find
die,
it,
yeah.
I don't want to find a moose looking for Bigfoot or something.
You know, just come
Or
up
a
here to the
Bigfoot
Pacific
looking for a
Northwest.
moose.
There's lots of Bigfoots.
We
Lots
do.
of
We
Bigfoot.
need to make a road trip
the
to
home
Kevin.
of the Bigfoot. Yeah, we really.
I just don't want to find a Bigfoot when I'm like on a mountain bike somewhere on a trail, you know?
Yeah, I
Leave your
also
mountain
want to
bike
be
at
in
home.
Go hunting.
I want to find him
Armored
with a
Hummer.
drone, you know?
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
that's I'd like that.
Man.
But I love this conversation so far. I hate to switch the subject, but I do like what I'm switching the subject to. So
I think we know where we're going.
So off
there
to
was a big movie
good
release
start.
this past weekend. Dwayne the Rock Johnson
Yes.
brought to life DC Comics Black Adam. So let's go ahead and talk spoilers. Black Adam, first off, did you like it or did you hate it? What do we got?
I think this between the four of us here, spoiler alert, I believe it's 50-50 about.
Yeah, I think.
Listen, I understand people like it, but Christian, why don't you go first?
Okay, let's do this. Because Nolan, you put up your review pretty early. I think you saw it Thursday night or Friday night.
I did. I saw it Thursday night.
I read your review and I was like stoked by it. And I wanted to be on your side. I walked into that theater pretty stoked and ready. And I would say like the first half I was actually kind of on board, and I think it kind of lost me a little bit. It is. I think if you're looking for something like an adrenaline fueled, like action packed superhero movie, this is for you for sure. There's no doubt about it. I think there was like a lot of like really, really fun stuff. I want more. Like I kind of wish we had a JSA movie before this. I think that's really cool. I think I don't know how to put this. I'll probably quote somebody else. It was a messy movie with a lot of like really awesome moments.
Yeah.
But I think it just probably just wasn't for me. I love The Rock too. I'll say this: he looked amazing. Like,
Oh yeah,
Dana's
Yeah.
convinced that he was CG, and when they show him skinny, that's him in real life.
That's the
And I'm
CG.
like, I know that's the CG. Like he talked about it in every he had to maintain that for 4 months of shooting. It's crazy.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny. I'm on the same side you are, except for me, it was kind of opposite. So it was the first half that bored me to tears. Like I was like, by the time the good stuff started in the second half, I was already kind of checked out to the point where I was just like, I don't even know if I care anymore.
Yeah,
but like the JSA stuff was really good. I thought I just love Pierce Brosnan in general. Like that dude is just like charisma and for days. Like he's amazing. The Rock was good as Black Adam. And I think what so I think if this movie had come out in the new DC reign that's going to be taken over, it might have had some touches to it that might have given it its own personality, right? To me, it just lacked any kind of personality or any kind of anything that really kind of made it. You know, you have movies like Morbius and these other movies that kind of run across the same generic kind of superhero formula. And that's how I felt this one did. I felt like it was just kind of like I can predict the end before, and I don't even know a lot about Black Adam, to be honest. I don't know a lot about the character. But watching it, I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Like I already knew it. And by the time we got to the end, I was like, yep, that's
I think
exactly
they did
what happened.
some stuff really well. Like the anti-hero stuff, it felt like a good, like this is like a proper anti-hero.
Yeah, and this isn't, by the way, this isn't bashing anyone's thoughts or anything, anyone's like
right,
how
exactly.
much they liked it or whatever. It's totally cool. That's just what I felt about. Eli, I think Eli liked it enough. He thought it was good. He had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, like Christian was saying, I just don't think it was for me, unfortunately.
Also, I hated that kid. I wanted to kill him.
The kid and the mom.
Yeah, and the mom. I hated her too, man. I'm like, she's trying to mom everybody. I'm like, damn, like, all right, back up, lady. Like, I get it. But I think they touched on some like really interesting stuff, especially as like, there was a part where like the general crowd was like cheering for Black Adam and like booing the JSA. Not spoilers, obviously, but like that was really interesting. And I thought like if they could touch on more of that, or expand on that idea,
and that was
really cool.
That was my thing, and we're not trying to take up the spotlight from you. I know you guys want to talk. I do apologize. But I do feel like I feel like it could have been a solid movie if it was just the JSA versus Black Adam, right? I felt like the other stuff with the Crown and that other villain they kind of tacked on was just overstuffed. Like it would have just been amazing, just a Black Adam versus JSA. I think that would have made the story a little bit more focused and a little bit. It might have flowed a little bit better for me. I think it would have worked better that way. Yeah. But that being said. What did you guys? I know Nolan and Jason. You guys are pretty high on it.
Like
go for it, Jason.
Like I don't know. I feel like it kind of reintroduced the action superhero film. Like just kept it straight to the point with superheroes and villains and the way he killed people. Like where he's like, he didn't make it when he just threw that guy. I don't know. I just feel like nowadays, a lot of movies will try to push an agenda in a superhero movie that is really kind of unnecessary. Like
I don't think that's true.
Well, some movie I think like with Thor was a great movie, but like who cares if the Rock guy's gay or whatever? I feel like you don't need to put that stamp on his forehead, like.
But that's kind of what comic books have been since the beginning, right? Like the X-Men were about the civil rights movement.
Yes.
And Bryan Singer made it because he was gay, so he.
Yeah, and no disrespect.
I'm not trying to. I'm just.
Yeah, it's just I just feel like nowadays you just see like everything's pushing some sort of agenda, and this was just straight smash mouth superhero movie, And like that did it for me. And like I just see The Rock as like nowadays Arnold Schwarzenegger, Like you look at Arnold back then was that big action hero Arnold. And now The Rock has filled that kind of void nicely, you know, like he is that action hero that it did it for me. Like I was like, wow, I got out of there. I was like, man, when he ripped that the demon, I don't even know what that devil guy's name was, but when he just
who was
split him in half.
Sabak.
Yes.
Sabak. That's right.
Kind of a generic villain, you know, like Savak, like who gives a shit, but at the same time, like
Agreed.
Like, I mean, the same could be said for Steppenwolf, which, you know, we knew him from Superman.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
and that's DC's problem, I think.
But that will lead us up. Like, I think we'll see Black Adam pop up in Shazam for sure, you know, like, and well, like the whole with Superman thing, I'm sure they're going to duke it out, but it's not going to be Black Adam versus Superman, the movie, you know, they're going to work it in there nicely. It's just, I don't know. It did it for me. And I like remember when they show where his son was the first one to get the power? He had that hair and those pointy ears. Like
the original Black Adam.
Yeah, which is cool. That was cool to see.
I seen that awful Photoshop they did of The Rock with that hair.
That's great.
The pointy ears. But I don't know. To me, it was a solid, good, badass action superhero movie.
What about you, Nolan?
Right. So I'm actually a really big Black Adam fan, like from way back, you know, following Shazam and Black Adam and Jeff Johns' JSA run, which this had a lot of nods to, like a lot of nods, like the Atom Smasher kind of we made a good team thing. And there were a lot of nods to we're going to see like this big split of what is a hero and what's not, you know, because I think the movie did a really good job of saying he's not a hero. Heroes don't kill people. Hawkman flat out said it, right? And he's killing people, but he's not meant to be a hero. He wasn't chosen by the wizard. You know, he was just like in the comics. It's a grave robber who stumbles upon it. He's a murderer. He was never meant to have the power, and yet he gets the power of all these, you know, Egyptian gods. So for me, they did a really good job on that. I really enjoyed their take on it. To me, it was kind of like the evil twin to Shazam's movie, because Shazam was so much fun, and so Shazam was just funny. Shazam had all these moments going, and it was very different from any DC movie we've gotten. Right, like we haven't had that. Like Superman can learn from that, having bright colors and smiling faces. But Black Adam wasn't supposed to be that. It was at times it felt like a video game. Like just so many deaths, you know, just like bam, bam, bam. But I love that. I also like that it kept to me, because like I said, I've been about one of my first DC direct action figures was Black Adam back when I was a kid. Like I love Black Adam. They kept the integrity of the character. He did. But they kept the integrity of that character, and I feel like in a lot of movies lately we're losing it. Like, I felt like Doctor Strange just shifted on us when it came out. Like, we got Doctor Strange, it's going all good, and all of a sudden, bam, horror, and like everything shifted. And I'm like, well, I mean, Doctor Strange is weird, but it wasn't what was set up before. Like what we know of Doctor Strange. So for me, what I know of Black Adam, this set it up really nicely. I was like, yeah, you know, that's perfect. He does have to go against Shazam. To me, Shazam before Superman, like.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I know Henry.
I know people want that, but I want Shazam first. You know, like you both have the power of the wizard. Like duke it out. But I agree. The Sabak was kind of a throwaway villain. I think he was just somebody that they needed to unite against, because from a marketing standpoint, you weren't going to have Black Adam walking away being the bad guy when the movie's named after him. Like it's not good marketing. You have a whole toy line for you and all these crazy things. It wouldn't make sense. It'd be like if they made a toy line for Hereditary, because nobody wanted that movie. It was this like so depressing movie. So I felt like they had to put that in there. You know, I just watched that again this week. So, but for me,
they did.
But it's Watchmen.
Comedian. Yes.
But I also want to touch on the JSA. You know, I think that they did the JSA so well, and I think all of us would have loved to have seen a JSA film to begin with.
Yes.
Because the whole time I was thinking like, JSA existed in this universe, yet we got, you know, the crap ass movies that we've gotten from DC. Like you could have given us JSA. Like, and I love the legacy of it. Like when Cyclone's checking in and it has her name, and it says like Legacy Red Tornado, because she's related to the Mahunkel Red Tornado.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we see the Henry Winkler, you know, Atom Smasher from yeah. And to me, I've always preferred JSA more than JLA, just because it's more family. It really is. It's more like a legacy and family, and I felt like everybody in the JSA pulled it off. like
Yeah.
Hawkman and Cyclone, Atom Smasher, and of course Dr. Fate, because Pierce
Yes.
Brosnan's amazing. Like I want more of that. Just give us Dr. Fate movies as long as he wants to do them, and I'd be happy.
They
Yeah.
could and
So-
have it like a younger version of him, like make him younger, whatever, like the origin story of him, whatnot. I think they could go that route.
They could go all crazy like the comics, and then all of a sudden, Dr. Fate's going to be the old man son of Hawkman, which JSA gets crazy. But I really, really enjoyed it. To me, it was a popcorn superhero flick, but I wanted that. I didn't want a philosophical romp through anything. I just wanted to have fun.
Yeah, it doesn't
you know?
have to be.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I think
I
Kevin
understand.
kind of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Chris.
No, I feel like you touched on it because, like, I feel like if they could have taken out, like, or maybe simplified the whole Sabak story. I feel like there were like 5 subplots, and it could have been just like 2 subplots, and just keep it streamlined. I probably would have enjoyed it more because I felt like there were things that were distracting from the stuff that I cared about watching. That kind of took away time from, like, let's just get more JSA stuff. I liked seeing them all together. I think that was really cool. Like, I think back at like Dread. If you guys saw the old Dread movie, it's been over 10 years now. Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Super simple premise, like really simple story. It's kick-ass action movie, right? And it's just like a very linear movie. And I think that's all that needed to be. And
I have a thought process to that too, because I agree, because you're right. They did put a lot in there for the size movie we got, because it wasn't even 3 hours, and a lot was going on. Yeah, I feel like, it wasn't long at all. Mm-hmm. So I felt like this was their Hail Mary, because The Rock has been pushing for this for 15 years. I felt like they were going to put as much in here, including Superman, in case they don't get another chance. Mm-hmm. Because if it wouldn't have done good at the box office, like, this would have been it. This would have been the one and done.
Did feel like a Hail Mary. It felt like the pacing was ridiculous. Yeah. It was just like boom, 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 boom. Like, there was no time for things to kind of like settle. I think for whatever reason, I think I saw it on Sunday night and the jokes like didn't really hit in my theater. But the one at least that hit for me was like, tell them the men in black sent you. Like, when he couldn't get it off, like, he was like, oh, I'm like, that's kind of funny. And then he finally gets it at the end. That was cool. That kid though, man, like,
hey, Uncle Kareem was badass. Remember, I die from it's okay. I die from electricity, and he's fighting. He's undead.
That was pretty funny.
He was great, but I do think when you're talking about the jokes and stuff, the screenplay could have used a little bit more polish, a little bit, because I can tell the jokes were there, and I can tell when people were supposed to laugh. Mm-hmm. But we were in a pretty packed theater on Sunday morning, and like nothing. It was just like crickets.
Yeah.
Like, I even looked over at Eli, and I was like, "Are you laughing? No." Okay. But you know those moments in those movies when you're like, everyone's. So I do feel like things like that could have used a little work. And one thing that, I think one of the things that bothered me. So like, I know I talk a lot of stuff about The Rock, but he is a very charismatic, very, very like fun to watch guy. Like, he's on the screen, you can't take your eyes off of him. I think the thing that part of it that killed it for me, even though he was great in the role, was seeing this very, very charismatic guy be a totally not charismatic at all character. And I know that's the character, right? That's Black Adam.
It is. But you're right, because The Rock's very over the top.
Yeah. Like, why are you going to cast The Rock, who's very charismatic and has all this personality, into a character that is just as stoic? He has, I don't mean this in a wrong way, but he doesn't have a personality, right? He's very much like, he's there to do something. He's going to get it done. He's going to do it. Like, that's it.
He's revenge. There's not really any personality to him. I agree.
And it's like and like I think it's the first movie. I think I was talking to Christian a little bit about this after we saw it. I think it's the first movie where I can see The Rock trying to act. Like, you can see him trying to be stoic and like very, you know what I mean? Like, you can kind of see it in the character, where every other role he's taken, he doesn't play the same character per se, but you can tell he's just having fun, having a good time. Right. Like, this one, he really stretched his acting muscles, and he was just like, man, I got to be this really serious guy. And I think that kind of took me out of it too a little bit. I was, you see The Rock, you want to see The Rock. You know what I mean?
I think that's kind of sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Please.
I just feel like that's kind of the awkward catch-22 of this movie because, like, I think one of the complaints going into it that people might have had was like, "Oh, it's just another Rock movie, right? It's another Rock movie, Rock doing the Rock things." So it's like, and then he doesn't do it, and you're like, "Right, he's not charismatic." So I'm like, "Did you want like, I don't know. I know what you're saying because I want him, I want to see the charisma, but I also want Black Adam. So it's like you're casting The Rock as Black Adam. You know what I mean? So it's
but I think when the movie wouldn't have happened without him because like nobody wanted a Black Adam movie. Like DC wasn't knocking on anybody's door for it. The Rock was petitioning before he even became massive, and he wanted to do it because Black Adam. So as we know, the world of comic books, just like the world, it has a lot of racist times during it, and it sucks. So when Black Adam was created, even though he's from Kondak and whatnot, he was always portrayed as a white man, as a white superhero, and that didn't make sense. Because if you came from over there, why don't you look like the people that are over there? And that was one of the Rock's biggest gripes, and that's why he wanted a hero to look like him. That was going to have the same color skin as him. He didn't want he didn't want it whitewashed. So I felt that I know The Rock he's The Rock. I've been a fan since Rocky Maivia. WWE. But you're right. He's very he's so charismatic. Jungle Cruise. He's so charismatic. He gets to be himself. And this is the first time where he's really had to tone it down.
What about that movie Snitch? Remember that one?
He got outshined in that movie. Yeah.
Shane, but he wasn't supposed to be The Rock.
You're right. He was a coward.
He was a whiny dad trying to get his son back, remember?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and Shane from The Walking Dead was great.
So real quick, let's go around real quick. What is your favorite movie with The Rock? Just real quick.
It was Jungle Cruise until now.
Okay. What about you, Nolan?
You know what? Just to be different, I'm going to say Jungle Cruise.
Okay, Christian.
Jumanji.
Cool. Oh, those are some good picks. Mine. I was just thinking. I always think about The Rundown. The Rundown is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie. Yeah, Rundown.
Vincent,
you got it, man.
That was Ethan Hawke, right?
That was Sean William Scott.
Yes.
Yeah. With Here Comes the Thunder and the Lightning and
Rosario Dawson, Christopher Walken.
Yes.
No, it was an excellent movie. I completely agree. I thought that and Walking Tall are both really fun movies. Man.
Remember Pain
that was with Johnny Knoxville, right?
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah. Dude,
you guys seen Pain and Gain, right?
Pain and Gain.
With Mark Wahlberg.
Who in The Rock? It's a true story, basically.
Anthony Mackie too, I think.
Oh God, yeah, that was totally different. When he punches that guy, he's like, "Why did he tell me I was buff?" He just knocked the shit out of him. But it got really dark really fast because like they ended up killing that guy. Remember? Because they were scamming. They were in the gym and they were scamming people, and then they you guys are con artists and shit, and then all of a sudden that guy gets killed. They killed him with like the dumbbells. I was like, oh shit, that movie just took a dark turn.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give it to The Rock, man. He's like one of the biggest, like, iconic faces in Hollywood right now. I mean, we all remember, right? We're old enough to remember when he started, like, Scorpion King. And I remember I was like, the wrestler guy is acting now. And it's like, but now, like, look, we've got, like, John Cena.
I was just about to say, you got John Cena, yeah.
I heard Edge. Edge is acting a lot now, too.
Like, Percy Jackson. Yeah, he's going to play Ares.
Yeah. So
Hulk Hogan was acting way before all of them. Thunder Lips.
Yeah, but Hulk Hogan never hit that. No. I think is it fair to say that like The Rock is the first like wrestler to transition into acting and be like
successful,
a movie star,
right? And be an actor and not the wrestler.
Be an actor, like
what do you mean? Suburban Commando wasn't a success?
No, but you know what I mean, though, right? Like,
right.
You have Hulk Hogan. Suburban Commando was great. Yeah. Was it Mr. Nanny? Was that the one?
Oh yeah.
But he was Hulk Hogan in every single role.
He was Hulk Hogan. Exactly. I think The Rock is probably the first.
And then John
one
Cena.
Who, and then John Cena came. Yeah.
Batista is another one too. Yeah.
Oh, Jesse Ventura.
If it bleeds, we can kill it. Or what does he say exactly? I can't remember.
I mean, but again,
finger to the throat.
Jesse Ventura, movie star.
Yeah,
You know who he
exactly.
is.
Exactly.
No, I'm still going with like what Kevin said. The Rock, you have John Cena, and yeah, Dave Batista. Dave Batista's come a
yeah.
long way since
Dude,
he first started out.
he was in Blade Runner 2049. Come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's in good stuff.
He was
Yeah.
Drax.
So, yeah, and now he's gonna be in Glass Onion. So
Yeah,
I
that's
seen
really cool.
Hey, what about Roddy Piper? They live.
But
That's a classic, and he's all out
yeah,
of bubble gum.
that's fair. It's because that's John Carpenter. So yeah, it's a pass. in my
That's a
book.
cult classic. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a different level.
exactly.
John Tracy said Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Man, no. Okay, well, Jesse Ventura is a perfect time for me to transition. We're going to talk about two other topics, real quick. Ones that I'm going to pass it to. First, I'm passing over to Christian. And Christian, you've been watching a little show about dragons.
House of the Dragon. I think Jason and I have both finished the show. I don't want to be pushy and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I just as friends want you guys to watch it too because it's so good. I easily like we've kind of been blessed this year with like amazing television from Peacemaker, Sandman, Stranger Things, obviously. The Boys. I know Cobra Kai season 5 you guys are into. Better Call Saul.
Yes.
And I gotta say, man, House of the Dragon kind of takes the cake for me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even think there's a close second to me with it. It's just like
That good.
if there has ever been like a masterpiece of a single season of especially like a first season, let alone like it just like this is like how you tell a story on TV. Like every episode just built perfectly, and you can't like man, it just also felt so real because everybody's so flawed. Like there is no clear black and white. Like this is the antagonist and this is the protagonist. You know, sides are drawn and it's kind of up to you to just like where you lay with everything. But it was some of the best writing. Andor, that's kind of another thing too. Nobody's talking about it. I know you guys aren't going to watch it. Andor is probably the best written Star Wars show, and I get it because like after Boba Fett, after Obi-Wan, I get how people will check out from Star Wars. But man, Andor was like the little like sneaky little wow. I need to watch that. Yeah, House of the Dragon. I think Emmys just need to be like here. Oh, you're on that show. Here you go. Everybody gets an Emmy.
Oh my god.
Patty Constantine as King Viserys. Both of the women that played Rhaenyra. Really quick, also quick little plug from my Instagram, Christian Nacorda, right here. I just hit 2,600 finally, so that's
nice.
kind of cool.
Congrats.
Thank you. I did a little post of Rhaenyra. I did a demo painting for my class, and I got like 350 likes on it. So thank you guys.
Dude, I saw that. Followers. That was badass.
Thank you
cool.
guys. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, if you guys aren't following me, check me out. I do a lot of fan art. It's just fun. Anyways,
great artist.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Thank you. But yeah, I'm working on one right now. I don't know if you can see it, but this is also
nice.
From the show.
Yes.
Incredible.
It's
that son of a bitch.
Getting there. He's so good. It's so good.
Anybody could draw that good. Jeez.
Thank you. But yeah, he's I don't know, man. I don't know who this guy is, but his face is like, can I cast him as like everything? It's crazy. So,
nice.
But yeah, House of the Dragon. If you guys haven't started, if you're hesitant because of the end of Game of Thrones, don't be. Like this makes up for it and then some. This is like breaking records for HBO. I think their viewership is up to like back to season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Oh, wow.
The quality is like everything: dialogue, acting, visuals. Like, don't bother with Rings of Power. Like, God, that was such a waste of time. Like,
I stopped watching it. It was really boring.
Yeah.
I mean, the last episode was good. I'll give them that. I like the twist it took. You know.
I checked out. We watched them all, but I was like checked out after a while.
She's trying to hide, but we already saw her.
Yeah. What's
She's
up?
sneaking in.
I enjoy you guys every week. Thanks, Anthony. Awesome. But yeah, I don't know. Jason, what are your thoughts on House of the Dragon?
Oh, goodness. And the gore was definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and even when you start to see the king like deteriorating, like, remember when they took that and like his eye was gone? I'm like, oh God, he's living without an eye. But this last episode, it's just like, that was scary.
God.
That scene up in the clouds in the rain. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Like once you saw that lightning, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but like, wow, that was a scary scene.
Like, yeah.
That was one of the scariest dragon scenes I have like seen, you know?
How cool.
Visually, I think episode 10 was the most beautifully shot episode. And there's a lot of like beautifully shot episodes this season, but like it was just gorgeous.
And Damon is the shit.
Yes. I mean, you start the season off for like, oh, is this going to be the new Jaime Lannister, or is this the new like King Joffrey? Damon is Damon, and that's all you need to know. He was probably finally Matt Smith gets like such a juicy.
Oh right,
role.
Matt Smith.
Man, he looks so good in that wig. I think he should just actually grow that hair.
Looks like a creepy Legolas, you know?
Yeah,
little Milo,
total badass. Way more.
I knew
badass.
Morbius was gonna do things for him.
Yeah, I know exactly. But it's such a good show. If you guys ever get a chance at any point, just like even just watch the first episode and see how you feel after that. But man, it just gets better and better. Like even just within like one episode, I'm like in tears. I'm like in shock. I'm terrified. I'm like laughing. It's just like you go over everything, and it's just really, really, really well done. So bravo.
And that episode with the wedding when she married. Oh, dude,
that's my favorite episode. Episode 5 was like the best episode.
When the fight breaks up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Episode 5, episode
Jason
8,
did tell me about that one.
10. Yeah. Oh my God. Episode 8. There's a I can't spoil it to say what episode 8 was, but like that's like Emmy, Patty Constantine Emmy for sure. So
yeah,
really
that
cool.
was.
I feel like my wig is like coming apart.
Finally, let your hair down, huh?
You're rocking it, man.
I should have shaved, man. I totally forgot. But look, I got the rings too. These are accurate rings.
Totally awesome.
That we 3D printed and painted.
Sweet.
So the resin.
That's so cool.
It's badass.
Ellie says she's going to steal those from you.
Yeah.
She will come get them.
Yeah, I can send you a file. You guys can print them too.
That'd be cool.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
awesome.
Dude, Heather. Yes.
Somebody put the kids fighting was epic.
Heather said the kids fighting was epic. I think that was like episode 6 or 7. I can't remember. It's funny because that coincided with the epic episode 6 of Rings of Power, where there was a huge war. And I swear to God, that kids fight, 5 children fighting, was more like enthralling and terrifying than a whole battle of Rings of Power. Sorry, Rings of Power. I don't mean to poo-poo that show, but I just was not a fan of that.
Hey, since when are orcs vampires, right?
I know. I
was new.
They're just like breaking the lore left and right. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. They're hearing from it. I see the fanboys just going crazy, especially after that last episode.
I mean, there were things that I really liked. Durin and what's his name? Elrond and Durin's wife. Durin and his wife are the best part of that show. There's like that's where all the heart is in that show. And I could have just done a whole show around them. And whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. House of the Dragon. That's what matters.
Yes.
So, but yeah.
Well, thank you for that. No, I appreciate it. And we have one more topic. I want to pass that one to Kevin Hoskinson.
Where's Kevin? There's some new guy right there.
Oh my gosh, I know. I shaved. So guys. So I think Pastrami Nation is soon. They're soon going to have their own resident ripperologists on the show and writing for Pastrami Nation. Guys, I've been going down this Jack the Ripper rabbit hole for weeks, right? Like it's been weeks. And I'm reading stuff, I'm learning stuff, and I'm thinking about we talked about it earlier, but I'm legitimately thinking about doing like a whole podcast on it, just about Jack the Ripper. There's so much stuff, guys. It's insane when you're learning about the victims, the 5, what they call them is the 5 canonical murders, which are the 5 women who we know were killed by Jack the Ripper. There are possibly up till about 8 to 11 possible, but these are the 5 that we know of completely. And it's just a fascinating rabbit hole, guys. It's insane. It's crazy. I feel like I'm going to be like, you guys seen the meme of Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the different strings going everywhere and stuff like that. I joke with Cassie, I was like, that's going to be my room soon because I'm going to solve this thing. I'm going to let you guys know who Jack the Ripper is in about a year's time. All right, guys, I'm going to solve this case.
Nice.
And yeah,
Those are big words.
Even my
We look
daughter,
forward
she's
to
like,
that.
it's true. It's true. And I think I'm going to bring everyone along on the journey as we figure it all out together.
Yes.
We're going to do something with this. It's just something I'm actually oddly, weirdly excited about because I've always been fascinated with the case itself. But it wasn't until like I said, for like about a month now, I'd say actually, is just really digging into everything, reading books, reading articles, like you have all the different letters that he supposedly wrote to the police, which I believe out of the there's about 4 or 5 letters. I believe only one of them is legitimate, and that's the actual From Hell letter. If you guys have a chance, check out the Dear Boss letter. It's insane. It's crazy. And it's the one where he actually calls himself Jack the Ripper for the first time. But I don't think it was him. I don't think Jack the Ripper actually ever called himself Jack the Ripper. I think he hated it. I think the real one was the only one. It was the From Hell letter. It was sent to the police with an actual body part, half a kidney. So I think that's the one that goes to that actually belongs to Jack. It's a fascinating case, guys. It's just. You know the basics, right? People know who Jack the Ripper is. They've heard of him. Everyone's heard of Jack the Ripper. Everyone's heard of kind of what happened. But there's all these other details that you don't know. Like all the women he murdered, they were they all lived obviously these very interesting lives before they were murdered. And this was during the 1880s, 1888. Generally, all the murders happened within 1888. Whitechapel, England. One of the most desolate, darkest, just everything you imagine that kind of gaslight, kind of London is, except this is scarier than that. So this is people have said we live in cities, right? We live in places where there's street lights, everything like that. There are places in this town, the whole town was just dark at night. There was no lights, no nothing. Just imagine the darkest dark you've ever had in your life. And then these women, they were working women, trying to make a living, trying to survive, trying to feed their families. And then suddenly this in the dark, this guy just comes up and he takes them down with this really. He did this a lot to a lot of his victims within minutes. I know a lot of people think he took his time, whatever, but this guy, he was methodical. And it is definitely a guy. I know there's a Jill the Ripper theory out there, but I don't think for reasons. But you guys know why they called him Jack the Ripper, right? You guys know why he's the Ripper? No, it's not even the Grim Reaper or anything like that. Do you guys know why they call him Jack the Ripper?
Because he dismembered people or cut them open.
Yeah, so this is gonna get a little bit gross, but he literally ripped organs out of people. He ripped body part, he tore things. My daughter
fatalities were a thing.
Fatalities, and this guy was working in the dark, complete dark, and if anything, he had a lantern, a small lantern. Ladies of the night, that is correct, David. He was working in complete darkness almost, and he was able to get these surgical procedures done in such accuracy and so specifically done within minutes time. It does almost seem I was saying this in the group chat earlier, but the kind of procedures that he did would take modern forensics experts and modern medicine, medical facilities, hours to do. He did in the dark within 5 minutes time. It's just this weird thing. You start to wonder if he was some sort of supernatural being because the way he worked and the way he moved was just so fascinating. So precise. Right. So, the last murder he did, which is the most gruesome of them all, they say the fire was so hot in the room from the fireplace that they couldn't even go in the room at first because they would get burnt, right? So she was on the bed. The fire was so hot, and no one knows what he used to light that fire, because it wasn't kerosene, it wasn't gasoline, because that stuff would have just burnt instantly like that as soon as it was done. This fire lasted for a good, hot enough to heat the room completely to where you couldn't even go in there. And that's one of the things people are pointing at, be like, yeah, this guy's literally from hell. Like, something's going on with this guy. He can create fires like that. Yeah, he was an expert surgeon. And it's just so bizarre. Anyways, I'm going to do a podcast on this because I need to talk about it. There's a lot going on. So anyways, quick plug. That was a trailer for upcoming podcast at some point.
I'd love to learn more about it too. Also, guys, if you guys are here watching, you guys haven't met Greg yet. If you guys are in the chat with us, then you guys know Greg. Greg's our friend from the UK, who also has theories. I think he did get I think it's like we have a 9-hour difference between us and London. So,
yeah, he's
unfortunately, but yeah, hopefully you guys will get him on soon, and you guys can chat about it. And I think that'd be
absolutely
really cool.
He actually pulled. We had a side chat because we don't want to blow up the main chat. The whole
good.
time.
Okay, there you go. That's why.
So we were talking about that, and he lived in Whitechapel for a while, and all these fascinating. Anyways, it's gonna happen. We're gonna do it, guys. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Greg and Thea.
Yeah, Greg,
guys.
cool guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyways,
well, that was a great trailer. Thank you. We appreciate it. We look forward to it. It's a super interesting topic. So
yeah, it is. It's fascinating.
Can't wait to see. All right, it's the time of the night to figure out who wins our prize. Jason, who will win our Loyal Subjects Best Action Beetlejuice figure?
Let's see.
Like this works better.
Make sure I got all of them
with the hair.
Now Christian's trying to look like Roddy Piper from They Live.
You know what looks really cool with this? I want to do like a mashup. I don't have it. The Casey Jones mask. It's kind of perfect with the vest, with the denim vest.
90s turtle movie.
It'll be like Eddie Munson, Casey Jones mashup.
That'd be badass. Well,
upside down.
Without further ado, gentlemen.
All right, go for it. Let's see. But there it goes.
Hey,
Vincent
Gutierrez. I saw him on there.
All right, Vincent. Please make sure you
Vincent.
Message us so we can get that shipped to you. Congratulations. You'll be getting a Best Action Beetlejuice figure from the Loyal Subjects. It's an awesome figure. They do nothing but great toys. So congratulations.
Congrats.
Very much.
All right. We have reached the end of our 100th episode journey. So I want to thank everybody again for tuning in. It was a very fun conversation. We talked about Ghost. We talked about Jesse Ventura. We talked about Jack the Ripper. Like
Jesse Ventura, that's its own podcast.
The Ventura Cast. But no, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you all for continuing to support Pastrami Nation. Be sure to follow us on social media. We're also on TikTok. I know Kevin's also on TikTok with a bunch of fun stuff, so make sure you follow him as well. And that's all I got. What about you guys?
Oh, just real quick, I did want to bring up I was on the recent episode of the Cinemas podcast where we talk about Halloween Ends and actually kind of the whole Hollywood or the whole Halloween franchise as a whole, but mainly the newer trilogy. So if you guys ever want to go check that out, Cinemas podcast, you can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can even follow them on Facebook, Twitter, all kinds of stuff. But that was really, really fun. So,
well, definitely.
Actually, I'll type
be sure
that
to check that out. And the link is up on our Pastrami Nation Facebook as well.
It is.
So head over there and you can check it out. Really cool guys over there. So make sure you support them, give them a like, and we'll probably have them on the show again very soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We still need to do our Star Wars and Iron Man
podcast. Yeah, we do.
Yeah. I already made the graphics. I showed them to Kevin. Like, I'm ready to go. So,
we'll make it happen.
All right. We will. All right, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic night.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
You got to go back to my tomb now.